Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to Joliet, Illinois, in the virtual Chicagoland Speedway for round number 8 on the inaugural RodCar Truck Tour Championship tonight from the Windy City for the Windy City 283 laps around this 1.5 mile intermediate racetrack, 125 miles, exactly what we saw if you were with us just 1 week ago. Tonight, though, it is for round number 8, and we get set to get the action underway. Do want to welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast booth alongside of myself, Evan Pasoko. As always, it's Andy Kessler, Josh Ball alongside me, our executive producer, Laura Lawson, as well, down in the production trailer. Guys, we move into this race. It's the same distance. It's the same kind of racetrack from what we saw just 1 week ago, but it has very different characteristics. Some of those we'll be able to talk about as the night goes on, but until then, the 40-minute practice is in the books and a 5-minute open qualifying session just now drawing to a close. So let's rack them and stack them. Take a look at the LSRTV starting grid for the Windy City 200. Pole position on this one after 5 minutes, Christian Peterson. One of the names that I was going to make note of a little bit later on, guys. One of the guys that's in our top 5 drivers for the I-5 bonus later on tonight. Great run so far here at Chicagoland in the Truck Series. He'll be on pole, and he beats out Seth the Merchant. Not an easy thing to do. The 42 has to settle for second on the grid.
Yeah, starting third tonight on the inside of the second row is the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr., while Frank Brusilia in the 94 is going to roll off fourth.
Row number 3 makes up Josh Hanner, number 24, and James Pileski, number 93, starting 6th.
And looking on back to the field, Rod Flagg starts this one from 7th spot. It's Rylan Pylan starting in 8th position. Daniel Ferguson next row back at the inside of row 5. That'll be 9th. Chad Keene will round out our top 10.
Rolling 11th tonight in the number 6 truck is Jeff Figlin. In the number 12, it's Corey Henry, and he's going to start 12th. The 43 is 13th will be the 20 of Matt Bontempi, and the 088 of Kent Connolly is going to start 15th.
Ramon Evans rolls off P16 tonight to his outside Ray Rittenauer. Tanner Mann, 18th. Matt Quick, followed by Glenn Hendrick, the last one to take time, starting 20th.
And then 5 more drivers back from those top 20 that you guys talked about there that put at a time in qualifying. Ryan Keese is slated to start in 21st. It's Dana Osborne 22nd. Chris Bassini 23rd. 24th for Jared Haggerty. And Sean Turner will start 25th in this race. Turner not currently on the racetrack, so it looks like it might be a 23 truck field as they get set to roll, and they do now behind the pace car to get this one underway. We take a look again at this race. 83 laps, exactly what we saw in last week's race for the Henry machine back in Kentucky, guys. Very similar thing, but there's no back stretch here at the Chicagoland Speedway. It's a stretch as opposed to a straight. And Josh, I'll turn to you before we get going here as a driver. It is a curved back straightaway. In all reality, it doesn't do a whole lot, but it makes this track a little bit different. And there's a lot of tracks that we go to that I say I don't like. I love this track.
Yeah, this track is going to be great. Just like you said, a lot of the drivers love driving here. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of downtime here. Everybody, you're going to be turning most of the way around the track. Like you said, I like to see battles pretty much throughout the whole track tonight. Turn 1, 2, 3, back. Great race. Let's get ready to go green and have some fun.
Well, we're glad to have you with us on LSRTV, and a big welcome to those tuned in through live. We get set to get underway from Chicagoland Speedway. The pace car going to dive down, get to the safety of the pit lane, and Christian Peterson going to be at the helm. Pace car gets down at 100 is green, 83 laps to go at the start finish line, and absolutely zero separation down to turn number 1, Andy. Right up on the outside, Seth the Merchant trying to hang tough. The outside, though, to slide back down to number 2. The top 2 on the bottom get clear, and it's the 88 of Jorgensen goes to second. He wants the race lead, though, looking to the inside.
He made a power move there off the back straightaway down into turn number 3. He's going to dive it underneath Peterson, take over that spot as
the outside of the racetrack, Josh. Maybe at any different racetrack, you go up to the wall, you're fine, but because of that curve, 88 had the inside spot. He made the move in 4-2. DeMerchant to the inside on Peterson. Peterson fell to second and way up the hill, down in 3 and 4. No problems for the 42 getting clear. And the T-Rex DuPont Automotive finishes Chevrolet as well. The Jurassic Park paint scheme on board Josh Hanner Chevrolet. He moves in as well, and he'll take that third podium spot.
It looked like Peterson was trying to maybe start getting the upper lane going here, but unfortunately it's too early to get that going. He's lost 3 spots since the opening. But yeah, going on to that first turn in turn 3 on that first lap, Jorgensen, that was just a power move. And he just went ahead and took the lead, but it looks like he might have a little bit of challenge now from Seth DeMerchant.
DeMerchant wants to keep charging forward. A very strong runner, looks to the inside. They go down to that apron again, not a yellow line. It's white. That is absolutely fair play. That could be one of the exciting things about this racetrack as this race goes on. Total number 23 trucks to start this one. The top 2 trying to grow a gap and pull away. 88 of Jorgensen still in front. The 42, though, plastered to the back bumper, trying to make something happen. Nothing in 3. It's going to happen, though, in 4. Quarter exit. Again, the place to get the job done. DeMerchant going to force it side by side to the grass at the line.
Yeah, a little slip up right there by Jorgensen going through 3 and 4, moves up a lane, opens the bottom lane wide open for Seth DeMerchant. He's going to take advantage of it, but not without some trouble right now, because here comes the 88 back on the outside. A power move on the outside keeps that momentum up. Now they're side by side back into 3. That's for the lead.
Not trying to give it up, but the longer way around, not the place to be. DeMerchant finally gets that spot, and after starting in second, falling to third, will take over the race lead at lap number 5. Your pole sitter, Christian Peterson, back to P4. Things not working out all that well. Lost all of those positions in the opening 2 laps. Still in front of Frank Musilia, the 94, who sits in 5th right now. He lost the spot off at the start of the race. Now caution flag will fly. Early problems here at Chicago, and it looks like the 5 car of Tanner Mann back in action here tonight in the HenrickCars.com Chevrolet Silverado, and it looks like that problem may have been down in turns number 1 and 2. Nonetheless, he's spun out, and it appears to be a single car incident for the number 5 machine. So you take a look at the problems. The 5 Tanner Mann on the inside of the racetrack, just getting back out on track. Was on the pit lane, and he'll spin on that flat apron, trying to get up the speed. Spins it out. The sim automatically triggers a caution flag, and with that, we slow things down early from Joliet, Illinois. We'll take this opportunity to step away for a quick commercial break. You're watching RodCar Truck Tour on LSRTV. More action from the Windy City coming up in just a moment. Stay tuned. Back live, still working under the caution flag for the Chicagoland Speedway, and Rod Flag gonna go to the top spot in this race, guys, because everybody else, albeit though after a early caution flag, elected to come down at the pit lane. That surges to 23 to the top spot, and it was your race leader, Seth DeMerchant, coming in. 4 tires and out. Not the first truck off the pit lane, though. 4 tires from the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. Getting it done. The Tracker Boat Chevy moves up a spot.
Yeah, his crew did a great job there on pit road. Just flat out beat the 42 off of pit road. So a great job by his pit crew there. And as we see Rod Flag and the 89 of Matt Quick come down pit road to get service. So Rod Flag just playing some strategy there. He is the points leader by 18.7, and he's just trying to pad that a little bit by getting a lap led.
And this is, again, an interesting racetrack. You talk about the Chicagoland Speedway, 18 degrees of banking. It's not the steepest of intermediate racetracks that we've seen, but Josh, it's not the, I guess, least banked. It's kind of right there in the middle. Again, it has its own unique characteristics. For being just 5 laps into the race, were you surprised that everybody came down, and not just at that fact that they took 4 tires? Or is tonight, like many of the times we head to these intermediate racetracks, is tonight really going to be about getting 4 fresh Goodyears every single time you come down?
Yeah, you know, Evan, over the last couple of weeks, we definitely saw 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires definitely take a different role in the race. You know, we had a lot of 2 tires cause crashes, and then people were able to stay out on 0 tires and be fine. So I think the guys are just playing it safe. You know, we're on lap 5, just like you said. So I think everybody just come in for fresh tires. I know a lot of those guys out there ran pretty hard to start with. So come and get some new rubbers. You know, we still got a long way to go, and maybe make a couple adjustments.
Wave rounds go around the top side as these guys get re-racked and we get set to go back. Green lights on a pace car do go out, so it'll be 10 laps in the books. When do we take the green flag again this next time around? It'll lead us with 73 laps to go in this race. Again, after tonight, we are officially now halfway through this inaugural RodCar Truck Tour Championship. Take a quick look at the championship standings as we enter tonight through round number 7. It was Seth the Merchant that picked up the win in the O-Henry 125, but it is Rod Flag, no wins on the season, topping the championship standings by 18 points over Shane McEachin, and from there on out, anything's very close with the likes of Ray Rittenauer, Matthew Quick, Joshua Hanner through the top 5.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of points to be gained, a lot of positions to be swapped around before this thing's over. Halfway through, though, Rod Flag's he's been doing it, like you said, no wins. He's just been doing it with flat-out consistency, and week in and week out, finishing in the top 10, it's going to get it done, at least for right now. But some of these other guys with a bunch of wins, if Rod has any issues, you're going to see him start taking a chunk out of his points lead.
So the pace car going to get down. This time the 88 going to be in control of the field. Rod Flag had stayed out. He led a lap. He came back down. So things are right back where we were. Everybody's got fresh tires. Green flag drops back and away we go. Small checkup on the inside of the racetrack, and it looks like a small shot into the back of the 24. Looks like he got quite the knock. Looks like some damage on the back of Josh Hanner after the 94 tried to anticipate that restart over exactly like we saw on the opening lap. The inside, the place to be. James Pileski realizes that the 93 wants to line down low.
Yeah, Jorgensen got out to a 2-car length lead here already in front of that outside on Seth the Merchant. Right behind him, Josh Hanner. Looks like he's going to be clear off turn 4 here as well. Coming down the front stretch, but that high line looks like it's going to come back a little bit here in turn 1.
And a lot of side-by-side. Look at the 42. Tries to shoot to the inside on Josh Hanner. That would be a fight for second on track. The 42 tried to go to the inside on the 24 across the nose of the 94, and it does not work out in benefit of Seth the Merchant. The outside for Christian Peterson, your pole sitter, trying to get back going the right direction. He'll make the move, slot in the 3rd. The 42 going to hang on for 4th, and now side-by-side for 5th. How about James Pileski? Started in P6. Has been kind of quiet, not up in that early fracas. Now he wants back inside the top 5.
Yeah, he's trying to get into it there. Almost pushes up into Frank Busilia through turns 1 and 2 right there off turn 2. Going to give way. He's going to lose some momentum. Here comes Stephanie Lesentine in that 43 truck. She makes the move to the inside. Now the 25 of Daniel Ferguson. He's going to look to the inside. So that just shows right there you lose a little bit of momentum, Evan. And these trucks, you're gonna pay for it as you head back into the corners.
And that's all the way to the yellow line. Now Daniel Ferguson, the Black Crown Chevy, 7th spot. He'll now make the move up on James Pileski as Stephanie Lesentine trying to get the power down. Already making up half the ground she needs to. Started 13th up to 6th right now, making that move on the outside. And part of that pass is not just going right in and making the aggressive move, but a lot of it is just letting those guys duke it out. She notices the side-by-side fight, goes to the high side, just goes right around them like Kyle Busch at Fontana a couple of years ago in a NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, makes the pass. She's now up 7 spots from the start of the race. Top 2, though, not latched together this time. Instead, it's 2nd and 3rd. Hanner's got it. Peterson wants it. And no objections, I'm sure, on behalf of the number 88 of Jorgensen Jr. He's got half a second gap back to 2nd as they continue to try to sort that out.
Yeah, it looks like Jorgensen might have made a couple adjustments on that pit stop. Hopefully his crew chief got him going in the right direction. Yeah, he's definitely pulling away now. He's a half a second in front of Christian Peterson, who actually just takes over second place on the inside of Josh Hand going to turn 1. But we'll see how long Mark Jorgensen's able to keep Christian Peterson behind him now that the leader and the fastest person in practice is in second.
Two drivers so far have fallen off the lead lap. Jared Haggerty sits 1 lap down right now after not taking to the grid the Power Rangers machine in 23rd. 3 laps down is the number 41 of Ryan Pyland. He is just disconnected from the sim via a connection issue. He's received a throughput fall to an unacceptable level. We'll have to keep an update to see if he's able to get that car back into the sim, try to salvage some points after being a top 10 car in the championship into tonight's event. Take a look back mid-pack. We're watching a lot up front. How about Rod Flag? We talked about the number 23 Chevrolet. Stayed out, led a lap, came down pit road. That put him all the way at the back. Right now he's in 13th, and he's on the charge forward. He is side by side with the number 96 up top, the Good Wrench Wrangler Gene Chevy. That's Chad Keene, and that's a pretty good fight across the start-finish on. The 96 not divvied in. Flag got the preferred spot, but powering on the outside to keep it a fight to turn 1 is that 96 up top.
He's doing everything he can to hang on to that position, but Rod Flag is going to pull up side by side now down the back straightaway. Rod's doing exactly what he's been doing all season long, just biding his time, staying out of trouble, getting those bonus points when he can, and so far it's been working for him. But now he's got a handful right now as Ryan Keese now jumps into the mix for this battle here. It looked like Rod Flag almost pushed up into the 96 of Chad Keene, so he's going to lose some momentum. That brings a 10 truck in. That also brings a 12 of Corey Henry into the picture.
A couple of people want to take advantage of it. Again, I said with Stephanie Lessentine, you see a fight, you take advantage. The 10, he wants to put it into his own hands. 3 wide, Ryan Keese to the inside of the racetrack. The 23 of Flag. He'll clear the 96 and a crossover into the corner. Not normally something that you see. Chad Keene, he tries to go down low. Now the 10 shuts the door. Josh, the intensity going straight up with these 3 cars, not even for a spot inside the top 10.
Yeah, exactly. Battling back in 14th, 15th, and 16th currently. Going at it like it's the last lap. They're back there racing as hard as they can. But I guess the setups are just as good tonight. You know, they're able to move around wherever they want to. It seems like everybody has got good handling race cars. It's just getting that speed to going through the backstretch and front stretch to get up front.
With the 96, he put quite the pinch down when we saw this fight earlier. Rod Flag, and they didn't make contact. They got awfully close that time through turns 3 and 4. Chris Passini trying to get clear of this fight. Looks like Ryan Keese has been able to do so. He's taken off. Keese in his own right, up 9 spots from the start of this race. And finally, the number 23 of Rod Flag gets clear. He'll take over the number 13 spot, back down to 3 and 4. Already working lap number 21 of 83 on the night. The 12 not giving up now. In all of this, as crazy as it's been and as stubborn, Andy, maybe, as Chad Keene has been, he's not giving it up. He's putting these guys to work. He's making it work for the passes. He's only going to the negative. Rod Flag was able to get around him, and now Corey Henry to the inside. He's going to get their contact, though, at a 2, and somehow Chad Keene's not in the fence. They hang on.
Wow, that was close right there. And I was just going to say, Chad Keene, he's just fighting hard. He's not, I mean, most guys would be like, all right, it's early in the race. Here you go, take that spot. Not Chad Keene. He likes that high side. He's trying to get it worked in right now, and he's doing a great job at it. Definitely frustrating the guys that are down on the bottom. First it was Rod Flag, who's now since pulled way away from this battle right now. But now Corey Henry in that 12 truck in the 088 and Conley, they're both going to try to make it. They both get a great run off of turn number 2. And a great power move there by the 088 of Kent Conley. He's going to finally clear Chad King, but you definitely got to give Chad some props right there. That's some aggressive driving and hanging tough on the outside.
Not missing anything up front. It's still Mark Jorgensen Jr., 9/10 of a second in front of Christian Peterson. We continue to watch the fight back here on track for what is now 14th spot. Corey Henry had it at the start-finish on it. The game it involves Chevy, though, a little bit squirrely that time off the corner. Kent Connolly gets it for a brief moment. Those cars single file out, although I don't expect that to last for very long. Take a look up. How about a fight inside the top 10? Frank Wasili, the number 94 machine, to the inside. He was scored in 9th the last time by Ramon Evans in 10th. They'll swap because the 83, the Borla exhaust Toyota, made the pass down in 1 and 2. Lucilia, though, the crossover the more conventional way on corner exit, and that car now getting tight off of 2, Josh. Some guys, the back end won't stay behind him. Some of them, they're chasing the front end up. Nonetheless, it's a side-by-side fight for 9th.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier, Evan, this track is banked all the way around. So a lot of these guys had good setups. It's just, we're getting on a little bit of a long run here. We've been out going green for about close to 20 laps now. So a lot of these guys are, feeling how the truck is and how it's going to be the rest of the race. So definitely probably going to look to make some adjustments next time they're able to come in, as Ramon Evans is still side by side with Frank Busiala coming off too. They just won't. Nobody will give it the position up here, only 26 laps in.
3 sets of side-by-side in the top 10 alone. Battle going on for 7th right now. How about Dana Osborne on the inside of the 93 of James Pileski? It's actually going to be a fight for 6th. The 8 car on the inside gets clear, crosses him right back over. That's very common that we're seeing here tonight on corner entry and corner exit, is that it's, again, you're never going straight on this track. The inside always the quicker place around. Might not set you up for the preferred line, but you can get that spot, force that guy to deviate from his preferred lane. Trouble now, the 3rd place car, Christian Peterson, sideways in turn 4. He will hang on, but that was that 3rd side-by-side fight that I had alluded to. Didn't get a chance to get up to those guys. Josh Hanner gets the spot. Peterson tries to chase him down, almost put himself in a fence, got about 15 degrees the wrong way. Hung on to it, though, lost a lot of speed, though, and now DeMerchant will capitalize, bump the 42 up the 3rd.
That definitely looks as though Peterson probably upset the tires just a bit there as DeMerchant way up to that high side. I don't know if he could stick a piece of paper there in between him and the
Larson line up there.
What a power move right there by him, but Seth DeMerchant taking advantage of Peterson. But Peterson, I think he might have upset his tires. He needs to let him cool off here just a bit. But that's an interesting line that
both of these guys
both of these guys are loose. Look at them right there off of turn number 2. Definitely the tires getting worn here as we get later in the run.
So that 42 up against the fence, and part 2 of our Friday night doubleheader cut up at a little bit on LSRTV. You'll see Seth DeMerchant in that 42. Normally he's got Kyle Larson designs on his Chevrolet in the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. I'll tell you what, it's not Eldora, Josh, but the 42 making it look like it is. So he's sideways up top and the 71 sideways down on the bottom. That shows you that these guys just trying to find grip anywhere that they can.
Yeah, definitely. They look like they're dirt tracking it out there. And unfortunately, they might have to go a couple more laps before any pit stops happen. So, but normally, going back the last couple weeks, we've had a lot of cautions during the race. So a lot of guys have been setting up their trucks for the short runs. Well, this week, unfortunately, so far, fortunately, we haven't had too many cautions. So there's been a lot of great racing going on around the track. But unfortunately, some of the guys' setups are just, they were set up for the short run. They don't really know what the long run is going to do, so they might have to make some adjustments here when they come in for pits.
And pit stop's not all that far out of the question. The 6 machine slow. It looks like major problems for the Chevrolet of Jeff Figlin. Scored 21st, and oh yeah, he's been in the fence. Right side damage, and it looks like turn 2. He was not one of the guys that was able to hang on, and that number 6 truck down through the grass in the back straightaway while he was working lap number 30. Wasn't able to turn that truck away from the inside fence and all of that grass, and eventually got the left side banged up. He'll now come down to the pit lane for service. So take a look at the LSRTV side by side. Take a look at what happened.
As you get deeper in these runs, these tires are just give up so much in speed and so much in grip, especially at this place, Evan, in Chicagoland, and it looks like the 6 just had that issue and lost it off the corner. Gets in the grass. Unfortunately, you're not, with no tread on these tires, you're not going to do much in the grass, especially keep it off the wall. So tough break for him right there, but he was able to make it to pit road. We stay green flag racing, which is a good thing, but we're going to have a battle for the lead here upcoming rather quickly as I'm watching the 24, Josh Hanner, on the long run here, finally catching that 88.
The gap has very quickly gone from 9/10 of a second plus down to just 3, and that'll happen once that 24 took second way, and There is still some minor back-end damage on that number 24 DuPont Automotive Finishes Chevrolet of Josh Hanner. Again, that contact coming off at the restart when he got hit in the back from the number 94 of Frank Busilia, but it doesn't look like that's causing any major problems for the number 24, and he's catching him quick, just as look at lap number 34, these guys getting through this race very quickly.
Yeah, they're really going pretty good here, Evan. I don't think we're going to have an issue on time this week, which is great. So we'll be able to see the finish of the race, no problem. But as you see, Josh Hanner is definitely catching Mark Jorgensen here as there's coming up on a lap car of Matt Quick. But Hanner is, it seems like he's set up for the long run. He was a little bit further back there at the beginning, but he's cut Jorgensen's lead down to 2/10 right now, and he's still coming.
A couple of guys have hit the pit lane. One of them, Christian Peterson, guys, our pole sitter, was in 6th. He's doing the short pitch strategy, has already come down to complete service. You see how quick he is when he flies by those guys that outset the Merchant. He'll join the fray of drivers who kick off this swing of pit stops. He brings the number 42 Chevrolet down to the pit lane. These guys all working with the same 70% fuel cell on these trucks. That's the same for everybody. And it looks like now it's time to get pit stalls underway. 42 comes in. He's got that number 2 stall.
Yeah, I think he realized how quick the 71 truck was on the fresh tires as opposed to the rest of the field. As you can see, as you watch Peterson right now make his way around the 8 truck of Dana Osborne, and just so much faster with these fresh tires. And I think he's going to be able to make up this gap here before Jorgensen actually comes into pit road. So it's going to be interesting to see once everything cycles out, Evan, how much of a difference that the 71 truck was able to make up on the leader.
So Jorgensen sits in the top spot right now. You take a look at your top 10 as we run right now. This may not hold much merit, again, as we're in the middle of green flag pit stops. Jorgensen, Hanner, Stephanie Lessentine bumping up to 3rd with the cycle. It's Osborne, Pileski through your top 5. Ferguson, Evans, Keith, Busilia, Flag through the top 10 at the moment. 17 on the lead lap, 4 of them 1 lap to the negative, and it makes the math very easy. You come down pit road, you pit, you lose a lap, so that means Matt Quick, Christian Peterson, Seth the Merchant, Chad Keene have all completed services. Up front, bobbled from the 88. Josh, you caught that one. The 24 was right there. That could have been bad, though. Josh Hanner keeps it off, ducks to the bottom in turn 1. He wants the top spot. Can he get it? Car gets tight, gets back to the gas. It's his.
Wow, yeah, Jorgensen was just totally loose coming out of 4 there, and tires are getting very worn as we see green flag pit stops are going on right now. As you can see the replay going up, and you see Jorgensen just gets real loose coming off of turn 4, and I guess Hanner's just been saving his tires, and now it looks like he's going to start to pull away from Jorgensen. But I expect to see these guys on the pit road here next couple laps, so we'll see if Jorgensen can get back up and pass him here shortly.
And now you expect that number 88 to slowly start to fall back. However, sometimes when you find yourself in a spot where you're out front, you lose a little bit of pace. You get behind somebody, Andy, you might figure something out from what that guy's doing that's allowing him to be a little bit quicker. The 88 actually a little bit closing in on that 24, at least not letting him blow out of the water. You take a look on board the Tracker Boats entry of Mark Jorgensen Jr. all the way down to the bottom of the racetrack. They don't have much of a worry behind them. Some lap traffic right on back. There's the 71, so that's how quick a truck is on 4 tires. Peterson already completed service, and he's trying to find a way through. Look out, not a lot of room with a 5 truck up on the top side.
Yeah, not a lot of room with the lap truck there, and Peterson just trying to get around these guys. He's trying to make up some time. He lost a little bit right there. Look how much faster he is through the corner right there. Almost like he doesn't even lift through the corner. So these fresh tires, he's making up a lot of time right now. Jorgensen having a little trouble, it looks like, presently with these tires. Just the long run just not seem to be what he needs right now. 2 seconds quicker is what these guys are on fresh tires. So think about that. Probably about 5 or 6 laps now, Peterson's been out on that track. He's made up all that time. He's probably going to have a pretty significant lead once everybody cycles through.
We work lap number 42 of 83. We are now halfway through the Windy City 200 from Chicagoland Speedway, and there goes Josh Hanner. He's going to bring that machine down to the pit lane and get service done. It leads the race lead to Stephanie Lessentine, the 43, going to be the next driver to stay out because right behind that 24 came Jorgensen.
You haven't heard too much strategies going yet, Evan, but you got to think if these guys stayed out that long and lost 2 seconds a lap, there might be trying to play some fuel conservation mode here. You know, we haven't seen really much of a fuel mileage race this year, but this might be the first one, and the 24 or the 88 might be able to pull it off, but it looks like Seth the Merchant and Christian Peterson are on the short let's go fast pit stops.
The lesson team going to come down to the pit lane. That leaves Dana Osborne to the top spot. Halfway home, though, in Joliet, Illinois. And with that, we step away for a moment. We'll go LSRTV non-stop, so you don't miss a moment of the action. We're past halfway, the Windy City 200 right now, in the hands of Dana Osborne.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Back live at a virtual Chicagoland Speedway, Dana Osborne still sits up and in front of the field right now after starting in 22nd without a time in qualifying. Through the round of pit stops, has found himself inside the top position. However, the gap between those that were leading before service began and those that stretched it quite immense. Christian Peterson, number 71 machine, he really short pitted. He is now in front of Seth the Merchant. He's in front of Josh Hanner. He's in front of Mark Jorgensen Jr. The big thing that we're looking at, though, Andy, is those guys that stretched it, it might not be 100%, but they're trying to do something with fuel.
Yeah, it's going to be cutting it real close. We're kind of doing some numbers in our head, and we figured the 88. It's going to be right about on the border there. But I think Josh has found out some info on the fuel strategy, talking to some of these guys.
Yeah, I was listening to a couple of the radios there, teammates Jorgensen and Hanner, and they stretched that out just like we had mentioned. They both can make it on fuel from here. They are about 2 laps to the good at this time, so as long as we don't have a green-white checkered, which we don't here on iRacing, but they are good to go to the finish. So it'd be interesting to see if Peterson and Seth the Merchant may have to play a little bit of fuel conservation, but so far it looks like the 24, 88, 43, anybody that pitted after that is good to go.
Yeah, exactly. They got to get to 83. They don't have to worry about overtime, which means they're 2 laps to the good, or 2 laps as far as what they would have extra. And Andy, that means that those guys that pitted more than 2 laps before them probably not going to be good. They're probably hoping for a caution. If we get a caution, I think everybody's coming in regardless because they want tires. So that could be what those guys need if they want to stay in this thing.
Well, that's what they're hoping, but you also got to look. He's got a 12-second lead right now, so even with the short pit, in the 2 seconds a lap, as long as Peterson doesn't stay out too long, and stretch his fuel on this run and gives himself some time. If he comes down the pit with, say, 20 laps to go, or in the next 10 or 15 laps or so, if he comes down the pit, gets those fresh tires back on there, he might be able to catch back up to those guys. It's going to be interesting to watch. It'll be fun to watch also.
And the Merchant, he's not all that far back from where Peterson sits right now. He's running a 1/10 of a second per lap quicker than Christian Peterson in front of the field. The gap 1 second, now 7/10, so 3/10 he'll knock off that time through. He should be able to get to him. You would think with that speed you should be able to get around him, but at 42, still not necessarily keeping the back end planted to the racetrack. It likes to drift up, especially in turn 2. Right behind him, you'll see Daniel Ferguson, the Budweiser Black Crown Chevrolet, one of the lap machines right now. He's actually the first car, 1 lap to the negative in 11th, as we sit with 10 trucks still on the lead lap. He rides the normal line through, and it's the guys that are digging that are going down to the bottom. Another 2/10 in favor of that time to the driver of the number 42. Small fight going on the racetrack for 9th spot. Rod Flag had it. Dana Osborne will take it as that happens down in 1 and 2. So the number 23 now becomes the last truck on the lead lap.
Yeah, when you were taking a look at that, Evan, I've been looking at Hanner and Jorgensen, just as we were just talking about. They are actually running over a half a second faster than the 2 leaders right now. They are actually gaining. They're down to 8.5 seconds currently from the 10 about less than 2 laps ago, I think, or maybe 3 laps ago now. But they are definitely pulling, getting a lot closer to Peterson and DeMerchant. So if they're going to make a swift move to pit road, they're going to need to go ahead now, as they are both under 8 seconds now.
DeMerchant is there. DeMerchant got the spot. So the number 42 leads down to turns number 3 and 4 on lap number 54 as your new race leader at this point. And they'll try to stretch things out. 7.9 seconds is where you find your next battle. The number 24 of Josh Hanner started in 5th, has led laps in this race, is 3rd. Right behind him, Mark Jorgensen Jr., and that leads me to believe that the 88 might just be a little bit quicker, because 24 led these guys down to the pit lane, Andy, when they came down together, and Hanner had quite the jump on that tracker boat Chevy when they came off after getting 4 tires and fuel, but the 88 right there gets to the bumper, doesn't go down low quite yet. Now he'll do it into quarter number 3, a more natural arc as opposed to forcing the issue down the backstretch. He'll get that problem down at a third, number 4. He'll take over now that bottom step on the podium, and it'll drop Josh Hanner back to 4th. All while they do this, though, they close in on the top 2, now just 6.8 back.
Yeah, they're going to keep closing in, obviously, with the fresher tires than the 2 leaders right now. But we saw this at the beginning of the race, too, or the beginning of this last run back on lap 10 or so it was. But the 88, definitely it seems like he's got the truck on the short run. Obviously teammates, but him and the 24 must have something different in their setup, because we saw Hanner really pick it up on the longer part of the run. So we saw the 88 be faster on the short run. We'll see if the 24 will be able to catch back up to him as the 88 continues to pull away from him off of turn number 2. But like you said, that gap is really starting to shrink around now to the leaders. It's not going to be long. I expect to see Seth DeMerchant and Christian Peterson probably within the next 10 laps hit pit road again.
And look in between Seth DeMerchant and Christian Peterson. The gap going to go to 1.2 seconds because there's about 5-6 trucks in between them. Ryan Keeson 11th, Matt Bontempi 13th. You got Ferguson. You're going to go on board with Christian Peterson. That is a melee in front, and all of those trucks have pitted after Seth DeMerchant did. Again, he was one of the first drivers to come down to the pit lane. 3 wide with the 20 up the middle. These are lap cars racing around your race leader. I don't know about that one. They're quicker than him. Seth DeMerchant better hold his breath.
Woo-hoo! I don't know. These guys are definitely racing as hard as they can. They're back in 14th, 12th position, racing as hard as they can. 3 wide with the leader. That's usually not the greatest idea. You usually get warned about that, but those guys are on a lot fresher tires, and now Jorgensen and Hanner are both within 5 seconds. They are coming fast.
And DeMerchant, I think, almost got up into the wall there, Andy. A lot of the time, the lap cars try to make it easy on your race leaders, but at the same time, as I had said, now we go from 10 trucks on the lead lap to 14, because as I mentioned, Bontempi, Keys, Ferguson, Cassini, they are 11, 12, 13, and 14. That's a fight for position. Plus, they're so much quicker, you can't just sit around or you're going to lose spots.
No, and it's all about momentum in these trucks. They lack the horsepower of the Cup car, and you got to keep momentum up, especially on these 1.5-mile tracks. And, if they let off the throttle there off of turn number 4, they might as well, throw that lap away, because they didn't do anything in that lap and lost a lot of time. So I don't blame them for going 3 wide. You definitely, I guess they picked the widest part of the track to do it at, so I guess that's not the worst thing that could have happened, but definitely for Seth the Merchant, it was definitely a time to take a deep breath there and just hold your line and hope these guys, hope those guys just stay out of your quarter panels.
Still a couple of cars in between to Merchant and your second place runner, Peterson, Glenn Hedrick, Corey Henry to battle. They sit 15th and 16th, now become the first 2 trucks, 1 lap to the negative after that set of 4 has since cleared on, and they continue to fight down in 1 and 2. Chad Kane way up the hill, Ryan Keese in the 10 truck. Gonna make a move. The 11 to Chris Bassini. He'll take the spot. The 25, he won't object. He wants to be a part of the party. He goes to the inside. He'll take a spot as well. And just like that, a little bit of a bad quarter entry for the number 96. We lose 4 spots in that group of 4. So they battle now 30 seconds behind your race leader, or again, just a couple of seconds up in front. You see the 12, Corey Henry. He was a driver that was a factor in this race earlier. He goes around Seth the Merchant. They're doing it the old school way. He now becomes the car number 15, last truck on the lead lap, and it looks like Peterson now could be coming down to the surface of the pit lane again. He really short pitted, so there was no way that truck was going to make it, and essentially, if our numbers are correct, when we were talking about the 88 and the 24 on the radio, there is no chance that Christian Peterson makes it. Oh, caution flag, this one, it's going to change everything. It's a wreck in 3 and 4, and Glenn Hedrick is around. Talk about the tire and fuel strategy. We went on board and we talked with the 88 and the 24, Andy, about if they can make it on fuel. They said they were good. That just took Christian Peterson out of the race, having to pit. However, the caution flag, everybody probably heading pit road bound, and this starts with the number 12 of Corey Henry. He's going down the backstretch in the 96 of Chad Keen into the fence on his own in turn 2. Comes down, hits the 12. 12 loses control of that truck, and it's Henry sliding through the grass that can't stop, comes up, and he plows Glenn Hedrick.
Wow. Yeah, that throws all that strategy we just talked about for the last like 10 to 15 laps out the window, Evan. You know, we got everybody's going to come in and get their tires now. Unfortunately, Christian Peterson might end up in a bad situation here because he is going to be at the end of the longest line, possibly, or he actually might be in front. I'm not quite sure at this moment, but either way, it's either going to be really good news or really bad news for Peterson.
Leaders in, here we go. Seth the Merchant, the 88's in, Andy, both have a clean entry.
Yeah, both of them do. They're going to come into pit road, get their stops done, but I actually think that the 71 truck might actually make out in this because he came down pit road when he did. He was already getting his service. It's a great battle off pit road between the 42 and the 88 right there. Great job by wow, just unbelievable stops right there by both those guys. But a great job by the Merchant able to come out ahead of them. But I think the 71 actually is going to be in great shape here because he didn't go a lap down when he was on pit road when that caution came out. So he was able to come out on the lead lap, and I believe since he has his tires now, he's going to be he might be scored your race leader here when we go to start.
And we talk a lot about that number 1 pit stall being a huge break, Josh. The line where you see that green cone, that is maybe 15, 20 feet after the pit stall of the number 1 car. So with the 42 machine being in that number 2 pit stall in the pit lane, Jorgensen being in the number 3, you saw the pit intervals. So though Seth was 6/10 slower, he got to that line first. That assures that he stays up in front of the 88. You'll take a look at the replay right now. We did see Christian Peterson. Guys, he came down pit road, Andy. He went for it. He got fuel. He got 2 tires of only right side tires in order to exit the pit lane right behind the pace car. It's not going to work, though. He has to come down. He figures 4 and fuel up the better than trying to force it. That'll drop him back to around 15th, 17th position. Still laps to get the job done, but not a lot of them.
Yeah, I was unaware that he only took 2 tires there, but obviously it kept him on the lead lap. So smart move. Now he's just got his work cut out for him to make his way back up through all this traffic. But if anybody can do it, he's definitely got a fast truck that's been able to get up through the field, past other trucks here tonight. So Peter, he's got his work cut out for him, Peterson does, but he's got a truck to do it with.
Lights still on the pace car. We expect those to go out, and not all that far away from crowning a winner at round number 8 in the inaugural RodCar Truck Tour Championship. Again, we want to welcome you into LSRTV. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, Josh Ball along for the ride with you here as well. A big welcome to those tuning in live tonight through iRacing Live. Seth the Merchant is your race leader. We're 66 laps in of 83 tonight, and this is the halfway point in this inaugural Truck Tour Championship campaign. Seth the Merchant trying to help his own self out, being 46 points back from Rod Flag. Flag stayed out, got a bonus point for leading a lap. Your championship leader started 7th. He just happens to find himself in 7th as they run right now, so a lot has been going on in this race. Let's take a look though at how they'll rack back up. The lights off at a pace car. They stay low to let one more lap car get waved by, rejoin the lead lap cars. It is going to be Seth the Merchant as your race leader. Mark Jorgensen Jr. second. Josh Hanner, Stephanie Lessentine back on row 2. Frank Wasilia is going to be in the inside on row 3. P5 guys, Pileski, Flag, Bontempi, Passini, and Ferguson through the top 10.
Yeah, Evan, and unfortunately, I hate to say it, but cautions breed cautions. We haven't really seen too many of them tonight, but the amount of how these guys have been racing, how their trucks have been handling, I don't know. It's just a little bit of eerie feeling. We might see a couple cautions here now towards the end of the race with brand new tires and only a couple laps left.
Somebody might call you a pessimist. I'll call you a realist, because when these races get down to the end, you saw how they were racing 20 laps in. Now they're going to dangle a checkered flag in front of their face. 16 laps to go at Chicago. Green flag flies, and back and away we go. Seth the Merchant, a great restart on the inside of the racetrack. 88 up on the top side. That's Mark Jorgensen Jr. All side by side to turns 1 and 2. Inside tries to pull through. They're clear by one truck.
Yeah, clear by one truck, and here comes Hanner now to the inside, looking to go make it 3 wide possibly. The 88 of Jorgensen gets his lane slammed right there by the 42. We got a lap car of the 6 truck now on the bottom side here. Leader's now going to exit off of turn number 2. Everybody's side by side. We're 3 wide. They're back there for 5th.
4
It's
wide.
terrible for the 24. The 24 couldn't swing down low to get through. More 3 wide into the corner. The 6 going to slide up right in front of your championship leader. Rod Flag on the brakes. There it is. Trouble. Chris Passini. He'll get turned into the outside wall. 25 of Ferguson's in it with him. Those 2 cars scrape up against the outside fence. No caution though. We stay green, and Seth the Merchant somehow is still your race leader.
Oh, wow. I don't know. How does that not a caution? But yeah, Seth the Merchant looks like he's actually pulling away as Mark Jorgensen looks like he's going to come in for 2nd place now under Josh Hanner. This is going to be a great battle to the finish. We're already seeing crazy driving as it is.
And you'll take a look at the replay for all of that went down in 1 and 2. Rod Flag back at the outside wall again down the back straightaway. Just talked about he has such a big lead on guys like Wofford, the Merchant, Peterson. No more than 42 points within him are those drivers. Now he's going to get turned. Contact in the corner. Can he save it up the hill? Now he can go around. Caution, and he gets hit. Big hit for Rod Flag. Caution flag will fly, and I think that's Tanner Mann that got him.
That was the 5 truck that just
Inbreed.
had nowhere to go. It looked like it just got that front clip there. Rod Flag was going to have to come in on the virtual toe. So, Evan, it's big trouble right there for your points leader. It just, the whole restart right from the beginning and the lap truck getting in the way as we're watching the replay, that just started everything up. It just seemed like a real odd couple of laps there.
I'll tell you, they were wrecking for about 5 laps. They just didn't hit anything. Finally, though, they ran out of mulligans, and I thought Rod was going to be able to save it. Got sideways, and then you're sideways in the middle of the track. You don't want to get hit. There was nowhere for Tanner Mann to go. Mann's going to be in his 2nd incident tonight, so he does not have a optional quick fix available anymore. Again, he had one a little bit earlier on in the evening, but he brought out that first caution flag after a self-spin on the apron. And now Seth the Merchant, he's got to go through it all again, and it'll be with less than 10 laps to go in this race. Rod Flag, again, I talked about how he has no win, Josh, coming into this atop the championship. He's in 20th spot right now. He's on the hook. At best, if he gets a couple wave bys, I'm thinking best case scenario, a top 15. That's if he can get back out there. That's if we get another caution and he gets wave bys to get back there and passes some trucks. That's your best case scenario. Worst case, you finish right now where you sit in 20th, and that gap that you have of 18 points back to second, 20 back to third, it's 32 back to fourth, and 34 back to fifth. That could be majorly erased here tonight.
Yeah, definitely, Evan. Unfortunately, Rod Flex, that's a pretty good lead in front of the points, in front of Shane McKeechin and Ray Rittenauer, just like we talked about earlier. But with that caution and that damage, having to take a tow, go into the back, even if he gets his last back, just like you said, he's going to have some trouble coming up through the field. And those guys, Ray Rittenauer is running currently in the 9th position. He stands to definitely gain a lot of points on him this week. But, unfortunately, Rod Flag, unfortunate circumstances tonight.
So now we reset, we stack them back up, and we go for it yet again. Christian Peterson, the number 71 machine, going backwards. It looks like there may be a speeding penalty assessed to the driver that came into this race on pole position. And after getting kind of caught in a bad spot, coming down pit road right when the second and most recent caution flag had come out, kind of having to go back out there, tried to make it work with 2 tires, elected to come back down, and just made up spots. He'll have to go right back and attempt to do it all over again. So your top 4, DeMerchant, Jorgensen, Hainer, Busilia. James Pileski's been quiet. Stephanie Lessentine's been quiet. Dana Osborne, Ray Rittenauer, Ramon Evans, Matt Bontempi. 5th on back through the top 10 have been quiet. That's been hard to do tonight because a lot of these guys have been making a lot of noise.
Yeah, Evan, and a lot of the guys up front, Seth and Jorgensen, Hannah, we've seen them up there all night. As Rod Flag comes around, gets one of his wave rounds currently, try to get back on the lead lap before this green flag restart. But you look at some of the other names that you just said, Pileski, Lessentine, Osborne, Rittenauer, they've been hanging around the top 10. They haven't been up front as much, but they're right there, and any little slip up from Jorgensen and Seth, if they take each other out, they'll be right in position to take a win.
Looks like 19 trucks going to be on the lead lap at the moment. A couple of those guys down on the pit lane getting some continuing services done. Tanner Mann, one of them, talked about the possibility that the HenrickCars.com Chevrolet Silverado may not have any quick fixes left. I don't see that truck getting that automatic quick repair at the moment, so that may very well indeed be the case. If that is, and he does elect to go back out there, that would leave us with still 18 trucks on the lead lap. Rod Flag, guys, I was talking about best case scenario, got that quick fix. He doesn't have any more left, but via the RodCar Truck Tour League rules, with 1 quick repair, didn't have any problems early, uses it up. Now, albeit he's kind of at risk, because if he gets in another incident, it's done. Good news for him is if there is another incident, it may end this race. He's back on the lead lap, and now he's got to get back to work.
Yeah, he's got his work cut out for him now. We talked about Peterson having to make his way through traffic on that last restart. Now you talk about the point leader here sitting 20th on the track right now. Now it's all about damage control. Can he make up 5 positions, 6 positions, 7 positions even before this thing's over? Maybe he could even get back in the top 10. Who knows with what could happen all in front of him? But he's definitely got his work cut out for him. And it's definitely all about damage control at this point.
Well, we go back at it. This restart will leave us with 8 laps to go, and at that point, that means there is still a window. If you get a caution in these next 3 laps, we will go back under green for one final restart. If you get inside of the final 5 laps without the green-white checker system in the iRacing service, this race will end with a checker alongside a yellow from the flag stand. The American Childhood Cancer Organization pace car, that Ford Mustang GT. You want to get out of the way for this one. We get set to go back at it. Green flag flies, back and away we go. Seth the Merchant, your race leader, as they sail off down to turn number 1. 88's got a big shove though. Busilia, he's back in the party in 3rd.
Side by side, everybody 10 rows deep, all the way back. It looks like the outside actually has a good run this time. Can Jorgensen pull it off 2?
They were right on each other's door that time, and for the first time all night, it's the outside with the advantage down the back stretch. 42, though, he wants to take advantage of the bottom in 3 and 4. Can he get the job done? He will get clear. No room for a crossover. He'll split it. 42, though, shuts the door. He wants none of it.
Yeah, 42 wants that position. Here comes the 88 now. He's going to look to the inside. Busilia right behind, giving Hanner a tough time.
What a pinch.
Jorgensen had to let off the throttle just a bit right there to 42 and sent the Merchant coming down below. Look at behind these guys. Here comes the 90, the 93 of Pileski. He's trying to get around Busilia. Lessentine just behind them, just got around Osborne. So we got action all over the place here in the top 10.
Pretty brave move from Seth the Merchant to come down there and pitch that guy in the bottom, considering how loose and tight these trucks have been. He's doing what he needs to do, though. He retains the race lead. He's 0.2 of a second to the good right now, working lap number 78.
It looks like Jorgen's definitely got a lot of work on his hands to get around the 42. That looks like the 20 might be going around in the back of the pack here.
He's in the grass.
No caution.
Map on Tempe spinning. And he's
Yeah, no
down
caution
in the
yet.
infield grass, so no caution flag. That's another self-incident out of turn 2. He's got to be careful, and he'll just take the ultimate 4 back to the pit lane. If he was pulling up, that could have triggered a yellow. He knows that. He takes the quick toe to pit road. No caution flag.
Yeah, smart move right there for him. Keep the racing going. Keep the track green right now, and battle shaping up for these guys. So the top 4 or 5 guys now still under a second from each other. The top 3 looking pretty strong. I was very surprised that Jorgensen hasn't been able to catch Seth the Merchant right now, because he's been really, really fast on the short run. Although the gap seems to be closing up right now, but he's got his work cut out. That 42's on the rail.
You've been taking a look at a lot of the extracurricular activities going on mid-pack on through, side by side for 7th. That's the fight with Dana Osborne, Christian Peterson. Peterson going to get the move again. We know the 71 has speed. He's passed about 10 trucks since the drop of the green flag, getting back through after serving a penalty. However, this time by, it'll be 3 laps to go for the number 42 of Seth the Merchant, trying to put it in victory lane, and if he can do so, might be a little bit voodoo going on here. We saw Christian Peterson win in Darlington. He backed it up with a win at Charlotte. After that, Brandon Chaburko won at Dover. He backed it up at Michigan. And your last race winner, Seth the Merchant, trying to make it 3 sets of back-to-back different drivers going to victory lane. He's 2 laps away.
Yeah, and he's pulling away from Mark Jorgensen right now. So it looks like unless some big incident happens or Jorgensen is able to, get those tires cleared up and get up there, it looks like Seth might get that 2nd win in a row.
The gap to Jorgensen grows a little bit that time by. It's .350, 35 hundredths of a second for the Merchant. Up in front of him, it's clean racetrack, no major worries.
No worries at the moment right now. About a 4 or 5 truck length lead right now for Seth the Merchant as they exit turn number 4. Coming to the white flag this time by. He's going to get it. The white flag, 1 lap, 1 more time around into turn 1 for the final time.
No matter what happens, they race back to the start-finish line. You see on the ticker sometimes you'll see green, yellow, or red. That tells you if somebody's going forwards or backwards. Well, after that first lap, Seth the Merchant started in 2nd. He was in the red. He lost spots, took the race lead, and the strategy call coming down pit road on a late race caution after setting it up on fuel. It's going to be the name of the game. Back-to-back wins. Seth the Merchant, checkered flag flies, the Windy City 200. The driver of the number 42. And in the last 6 races, gentlemen, we have had 3 different drivers go back-to-back. Peterson, Chaburko, and now Seth the Merchant will add his name to that list, and this will be a big boost for him in the championship. Championship leader Rod Flag improves. He's able to get away with a 14th place result after a late race incident.
Wow, Evan. And look at Christian Peterson. Finish 4th. That's crazy.
All the way from the back to the top 5 is able to walk away with the 4th after starting on pole. The top 6 in this race started no worse than P6 on the grid. It's not normal that you see a race end like that one, especially through all of the chaos that you saw. He burns it down, well deserved for the 2nd week in a row. We'll talk to him in a moment. For for the virtual Gatorade victory lane. We'll as well catch up with the rest of your podium finishers. Until then, though, step away one final time, and we'll be right back from the virtual Chicagoland Speedway for the post-race show on LSRTV. You're watching the RodCar Truck Tour.
But here comes Gregor Hutu into Canada corner for the final time. Just 2 corners left to go before he finally makes himself a triumphant return back to victory lane. He has led 38 laps of this event here today, and Gregor Hutu once again is a winner. Gregor Hutu will work himself through the Cobra Parabolica. He will claim his 46th victory in iRacing.com World Championship competition. Gregor Hutu, for the 2nd race in a row, reigns supreme.
The one thing that I think is the most important is we've been racing this Crown Championship Series for quite some time now, a very long time even at that, and he is the only driver to have ever won a professional road race at Watkins Glen.
But there is nothing that could crack that finish #1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu worked himself out the final corner, and just as he did in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, in 2015, Hutu once again wins at Watkins Glen.
Hutu will come across the line and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway.
Here he comes now, just 3 corners left to go, into Brooklands for the final time, into Luffield for the final time. Never ever say that Gregor Hutu is beaten, because he just comes back bigger, he comes back stronger. He wins round number 9 of the World Championship Series, 49th win of his career. If you're the world's greatest sim racing driver, you can do it with your statements on the road courses. Do it when it matters. Out of the final corner for the final time, number 50 for Gregor Hutu, out of the final corner. At the top of the broadcast, we said if Hutu could win here today, he could well cement himself as the championship favourite. Gregor Hutu, the #1 machine, back to victory lane, win number 51. Hutu is inching closer rapidly to his 5th, and yes, I say that correctly, his 5th World Championship. Out of the bus stop chicane comes the #1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu will win here at Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Yes, you may be behind a computer with a steering wheel and a set of pedals, but for these drivers, this is as close as they may ever get to racing in real life. It will be Gregor Hutu coming past the line. He is a 5-time world champion. Gregor Hutu wins the championship one more time. He is the greatest driver in the history.
Back live at the virtual Chicagoland Speedway in Joliet, Illinois for our continuing coverage of the RodCar Truck Tour inaugural Season 1 Championship on LSRTV. Tonight, round number 8, the Windy City 200 draws to a close. The statistics, guys, on this one, quite strange. Something that we haven't seen all season. The top 6 that started the race all finished inside the top 6, albeit they were shuffled around a little bit, but outside of the top 6, a very different story. You have guys that started 22nd, 13th, 21st, 19th, respectively, and it continues to shuffle from there on out, but the top 6 had it on rails tonight. Going to talk to one of our top finishers, caught up on the pit lane with the driver of the number 24, Josh Paul. You are down. You've caught up with Josh Hanner, who walks around the podium tonight.
Yeah, I'm down here with Josh Henry. A couple strong run. Look like up there a couple times tonight in the lead. Truck looked real strong on that long run. The last couple of weeks, it's been pretty strong too. So tell me about your night, Josh. How was the truck?
That was really good on the long run. We had nothing for Seth and Christian on the short run. They were rocket ships. But if that really long run there in the middle of the race, man, we had them covered, and we knew they had to pit again, and we were hoping it would stay green, and it would have been me or Mark here in victory lane, but it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, we were up here in the booth. We were talking about pit strategy and everything, and I think we caught over your your radio that you and the 88 were good to go on that long run towards the end if you guys were going green. Was that the plan, just to make it all the way on fuel and hopefully keep ahead of those guys that had to pit again for new tires?
Yeah, I was looking at the fuel, and I was going to pit the first lap that my window opened up because I didn't want to give up too much time to Seth and Christian because I knew they had short pit. So as soon as the window opened up, I called me and Mark down to pit road, and we were just kind of cruising there, waiting on them to pit. I think we were clicking off half a second to a second a lap on the two of them just because they had older tires. So we were definitely licking our chops and hoping that would stay green.
Yeah, great run for the Henrik team again tonight. You've definitely been getting closer week in and week out to that number one spot and to get the W. Last couple weeks, we've had back-to-back wins by Chaburko, Seth the Merchant. What is it going to take to get the 24 or the 88, one of those two, into victory lane here next week?
Well, I can't speak for the 88, but for me, it's quite simple. I just got to be better. I need to be a better driver. I need to be better on pit road. And I need better short run speed. That's all there is to it.
All right, well, thanks, Josh Hannon, for catching up with us here tonight. Good third-place finish. You'd like to send any sponsor shout-outs? Anybody you'd like to thank before we let you go?
Well, thank you guys for doing the broadcasts. Great every week. I thank Rod for putting on the league. Give a shout-out to my teammates, Jorgensen and Ball, you, and Tanner. and thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you out on the track again here shortly. That is Josh Hanner, P3 tonight. I think my co-conspirator, Andy, has caught up with P2, Mark Jorgensen.
That's right. I am down here on pit road next to this 88 truck, a fast truck, Mark, all night long, especially on the short runs. A lot of speed in this thing, just came up one spot short.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing truck. Got a lot of setup help from Joshua Hainer this evening, and the setup that I got from him, initially during practice, it just didn't fit my style, and ended up going back to a Michigan setup. In the first, at the start of the race, I was able to jump out to the lead, but in the center of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, it was a little bit tight. So that very first pit stop, I made a huge wedge adjustment, and after that, it just took off. Really, didn't want to see those last few cautions because Seth the Merchant had us covered on the short run. Me and Josh Hanner, we'd eat them up on the long run. So, that last little 5, 6, 7 lap stint that we had to the checkers, I was giving it all I had and just seeing Seth just pull away.
Yeah, it hasn't been last couple of weeks having some bad luck on your side to come back with a second place finish here tonight. Although it's not the win, you got to be pretty stoked about that and to get some momentum back on your side.
Oh yeah, it's always fun, racing with these group of guys. They're really, really good, and so when you have a bad race like we did last weekend, it's just a little racing deal on that last restart there at Kentucky. I thought I was destined for about a second or third place finish, but I had to settle for 19th, so kind of left Kentucky pretty pissed off. Definitely wanted to go into the virtual garage and start throwing some fists for sure. I was pretty damn pissed off about that last restart at Kentucky, but was able to bounce back here at Chicagoland. So yeah, it was a good run. Hopefully, I can have a little momentum and good luck transfer over to the ISS side of things. We're going to be racing there here in about another hour or so there at Talladega. So I'm going to have to go catch a flight here pretty soon to make it down there.
Well, we all are going to have to catch that flight there, as we'll be covering that also. But Mark, strong truck, fast truck, had a great race tonight. Congratulations again on this second place finish.
I appreciate it, Andy. Just one last thing, I'd like to give a big shout out for Rod. Pretty amazing what he does as far as these two leagues that he kind of runs. It's all under one banner, but we got the trucks right before the ISS stuff. So, it's pretty amazing the time and effort and the money that he's dumping into it. It's absolute blast to race in this league with these guys. Want to thank Joshua Hanner again for the setup. Absolutely killer truck. It's fun racing in the top 5 every week. It does suck getting crashed out, but hopefully we can put one of these runs together and get us that elusive win. Like to thank y'all guys for, having us, televising us. It's pretty amazing. I'm actually looking at the iRacing page right now, and across the top, it got that little banner. I don't know how many people were watching, but hopefully we put on a good show for the ones that did watch.
Well, that you did, because it was a great show, and more to come here in the next hour. So congratulations again, and I believe Evan is where Mark wants to be in Victory Lane, but you got the 42 truck over there.
And he climbs out of that number 42 for the second time in a row atop the pile. Seth the Merchant, your winner tonight at the Chicagoland Speedway. Seth, I'm going to throw a stat at you to start, and we've said this about twice already, but we'll go for it. So Christian Peterson wins the third race on the year at Darlington. He doubles it up, goes back-to-back at Charlotte. Brandon Chaburko wins at Dover. He doubles it up, goes back-to-back at Michigan. You win at Kentucky, you double it up, you go back-to-back at Chicago. So we've had 6 different races where in 3 sets, 3 different drivers have now gone back-to-back on the season. You join them, you get your second win on the year, and you did it from second spot on the grid. How'd you do it?
Oh man, I'm surprised. I didn't think we had anything for Josh and Mark there, because after about 10 laps into the run, they would just pull away from us like we were standing still. So those cautions really helped us a lot. Because I think with about 20 to go or so, we were both about to pit, because Christian pitted, and then I was going to pit the next lap, and we got that caution, and that kind of saved us because we pitted too early on, I think, the second pit stop. Or one of them, we pitted too early, so we didn't have enough gas to go the rest of the way, and we were going to try to play a caution strategy. It ended up working out.
We were talking about the fuel. That would have made you guys short. We said, well, in the end, you picked the right strategy because it sets you up to be in the best spot that you could if you end up getting the job done. But, through all of that, especially at the end, we saw you and Mark, plastered on each other's door, which was a little bit disconcerting, I guess, because we saw a lot tonight. We had guys where the back end of their truck wouldn't stay under them, or the front end of the truck just kept plowing up the racetrack. So for you guys to be right on each other's door like that at the end, we knew you were going for it. How did that truck handle?
Fine. It was fine for about 10 laps, and then after that, I don't know, just this new build, the right rear just gets really heated or something. Everything gets really loose. So I wasn't really worried about it at that point of the run, because we only had about 5 laps on our tires when we went back in and we're racing side by side.
It's a strong run nonetheless, and now your job is to make sure that our little trend here does not continue. You don't want somebody else to have an opportunity to start their own streak and win the next 2 races. So you head into Iowa, you head into Kansas. I'll throw Auto Club into the mix as well, all because the next 3 races are night races. A lot more grip, a lot more speed. Does that fit your style?
Oh, definitely. I like Iowa. I've won there in multiple different leagues. Auto Club in Las Vegas. I like both of those tracks, so I think we got a pretty good shot. Hopefully I can go for 3 in a row here. We can get Christian in Victory Lane again at Iowa, or one of those other tracks.
It wasn't quite a dominating performance, but you guys up front by far the fastest trucks on the night, and you win the scrap at the end to pick up your second win in the inaugural RodCar Truck Tour Championship campaign. Seth, we asked you this last week. We'll do it again as sponsors, shout-outs, all of those good people who makes it happen for you in the 42 team.
I just need to thank P-Money Designs for making my paint schemes and Christian's paint schemes that you see on the broadcast, and I need to thank Rod for putting the league on, and you guys for doing the broadcast.
All right, Seth, well, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us again. Congratulations. That's 2 wins in a row. We wish you the best of luck. We'll see you in a little bit for part 2 on our LSRTV Friday night doubleheader with the iSuperspeedway.com racing series.
All right, man. Thanks.
So that is your winner from Chicagoland Speedway. You take a look at the full finishing results. Scroll across the top of your screen, guys. An exciting one again. And, Chicago, I said I like it. And, the funny thing is that we always talk, and the drivers will kind of bag on us that, we do the talking because we can't drive. I'm not a very good driver, but I do have a win at Chicago in the B Series. That's the only good thing I've done on this sim. So I said I love this track. I love the way it races. It's very wide. There's plenty of room. And you saw it tonight. We saw guys not even waiting to the end there, although that race at the end was absolutely chaotic. They were going at it all race long. Despite the handling conditions, they were able to hold on to it for the most part of those battles, and it was an exciting and thrilling race to watch.
Oh, it absolutely was, Evan, and I like this track too. like I said, I'm up here for a reason and not on the track. But when I do race at this track, it is that type of racetrack. There's multiple grooves. The tires wear out. It comes into the driver's hands, and I think these guys showed it here tonight. How many guys had issues getting sideways and able to hang on to that truck. The minimal cautions we had here tonight. I think it's just a great racing track, especially for the trucks. They put on a great show here. It doesn't matter what league or what group of guys, I think, that get onto it. So it's just all around, I think it's a really, really, really fun track, especially for the trucks. These guys showed it here tonight, just did a great job, and it just showed that you can put on some good racing here.
We go to Iowa. Iowa, always an exciting racetrack, and for those still tuning in, you can go to youtube.com/LiveSimRacingTV for part 2 of our Friday night doubleheader, the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. Coming up next, Josh, you got to get going because you got to get behind the wheel, and Seth went back-to-back. I would assume you'd like to do the same thing. You guys are at Talladega. You want to give us a preview?
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to a lot bigger track than Chicagoland. But last week was a lot of fun. We were out there pretty good at Talladega. Got us another W, and it's just a different style of racing. We go out there, everybody's car handles the same. Unlike the RodCar Truck Tour, it's fixed setups. We're at a super speedway, so it's a lot of people go out there and do the Carb Cup and all that. But a lot of these guys, every guy in the league is a great driver. We're going to go out there. If you tune in tonight, you're going to see a lot of good racing. Hopefully, I'll be able to get the 48 back up there for another win and compete again for the championship this year, as we're looking about halfway to the chase.
Yeah, we look forward to that as we are now halfway through this inaugural RodCar Truck Tour Championship. And then after that, as you said, we're about halfway through to the chase in the iSuperspeedway.com racing series. And we look forward to that. So wrapping things up tonight from Chicago, that does it. 8 races down, and now just 7 remain. So we want to thank everybody again for tuning in, not only tonight on LSRTV, but as well through iRacing Live. That does it, though. So long till next time. On behalf of the crew tonight, for myself, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, and our driver analyst, Josh Ball, as well as for our executive producer, Laura Lawson, thank you so much for tuning in. Congratulations again to Seth the Merchant. He goes back-to-back and is your winner tonight from Chicago. We'll see you in about a half hour. Again, part 2 of our Friday night doubleheader coming up. Stay tuned for the iSuperspeedway.com racing series from Talladega. Good night.